Okay, Emma, so we're going to continue with this little lesson here. And I'm going to try to do everything at once. Look at the picture, the reference, and the camera to make sure everything's in the picture. Now, you may have noticed that my nose was a little bit high before. So, I'm just going to go, I got to move this to the side because I have to see my reference. There we go. The bottom of the nose was a little bit high before. This is really hard to do while looking at. Anyway, how do you do this? You see, there's a little circle where the whole nose goes, but where is that exactly in relation to, let's say, the ear? Look at this little line here. It's like a direct line down from the edge of the ear to where the nose starts. Maybe I had it too narrow. Anyway, the point is trying to find lines that go through areas. Okay, this one goes to that point on his head, right? And it goes down through his nose. Gross. And then it continues down through his mouth, just to barely to the right side of his chin. So that way I know all I'm trying to do is find out where his nose actually is. This line, that's a little hard to find because there's nothing really to refer it to. But you can see what I'm doing here. I'm finding a vertical, and then I find that same vertical on the head shape, and then I know where that line of the nose goes. So now what you want to do is you want to go vertical. You want to find your verticals. You see this here? That's this edge of his face. And it comes down and ends up right down here. Below the frog, below the hands. It's pretty low down. And the other one, the other big triangle shape comes down this way. And you kind of try to find out where they meet down here. And you use that as a reference point. And then you can start to build all your other details once you get these shapes where they're supposed to be in relation to the other shapes, right? So this one, I'm pointing at my phone. The line of the coat, it runs along the edge of his chin. So that's about the distance, but now I got to get the angle. So I'm doing it by eye, right? I'm looking back and forth between that and this. Now that little edge of the coat, where does it end up? Let's go over with a horizontal line right about there on his nose. Sound about right? And it goes down to just halfway between the end of his ear and the top of the coat or the shirt on the other side. So it'll come straight through there. And that's about where that shape is. It'll come down from there. Do that little shadow thing. So you can see I'm working through the whole drawing. I'm not focusing on one particular spot. I'm just trying to establish my angles and my distances. Let's just see if this is right. From the bottom, it looks like the chin is a little bit long to me compared to the reference. Either that or the nose is short. Does it look like that to you? So let's count. 1, 2, 3. It comes up. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's about right, actually. But this is how the math works with drawing. And do go slowly. You don't punch anything in too strong, too fast. And again, don't worry about shapes or details. Just worry about angles, size relationships, and position. Now that eye, I think, is either a little bit too far out that way, or it's too small. I think it's too small. So I'll make it a little bit wider. Yeah, he's got kid eyes, right? So I usually don't do this to darken them in like that, or do details like eyebrows too quickly, because that's just fluff. We want to do the mechanics first. We'll do the hairline. That's pretty easy to establish. And a little bit of tone, just to make it look a little bit more like a finished product. You know how to do hair, right? It's like highlights here and there. His hair is kind of multi-directional. Anyway, kind of needs a mouth, doesn't he? I'm using a pen. You can use a pen if you want. You can use a pencil. It doesn't really matter. But again, don't use a super heavy line, especially at first, because that'll mess you up. That locks you in. Mr. Drummond always said, "You're punching holes." There's the collar of his shirt. He looks a lot older the way I'm drawing him than he does in the picture, doesn't he? Yeah, well, he is older now. Anyway, I hope that helps. So yeah, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. It's about right. The hair might be could come down just a little bit lower, the hairline. Nose width. 1, 2, 3 to the cheek. 1, 2, 3 to the cheek. Go the other way. 1, 2, 3 to the cheek. 1, 2. Sorry. 1, 2, 3. So that's your distance there. That's the same distance, and then that's the distance over to the cheek. 1, 2, 3. The mouth. The edge of the mouth comes straight up to the inside of the iris of the eyeball. The edge of this mouth comes straight up to the I don't know which part you call that on your eye. You can research that one for me. Anyway, you kind of get it, I hope. And then you can work on your shading and your details later, but the positioning, the size proportions, and the angles, that's the most important thing for you right now. It's math, really. It's weird. I know you hate to hear that word, but it's kind of what it is. It's counting. All right. Hope it helped.